I think we all saw this day coming, and that was the day that Brock would finally retire. This man had such a legendary career, and it's honestly hard to believe that he's finally done. So, Brock started in 2002, and he came from the same class as John Cena, Randy Orton, and Batista. He came in 2002, and immediately you could just tell that this guy was going to be the next big thing, as Paul Heyman said. Paul Heyman saw Brock Lesnar the first day he met him, and he knew he was going to become a main eventer. He knew he was going to become the face of the company at some point. And literally, that's what Brock was. As the Attitude Era was closing, guys like Stone Cold and The Rock were leaving, but new faces had to start stepping up, and Brock was just one of those guys. He beat The Rock at SummerSlam and became the youngest WWE champion in history. He won the King of the Ring in 2002, and he even became a 2003 Royal Rumble winner. He faced Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, and it was just amazing to see what this man was doing. And not to mention, he was only just 25 at the end of the day. So literally for him to achieve all this at a young age like that was pretty impressive. And not to mention, he also did have amazing feuds with guys like The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, Hulk Hogan, Big Show. And they were all these guys that were just putting Brock over. And Brock really had a solid run from '02 to '04. And of course, we can't deny the one thing that probably was the biggest blemish during this run, and that was his match with Goldberg at WrestleMania 20. You see, Brock was actually leaving the company. And of course, rumor got out that him and Goldberg were both leaving, and the fans turned on the match at WrestleMania 20. And I feel like this match really had potential to be one of the better ones in his career. But of course, we can't deny that with him leaving, it probably had some influence as well. And of course, we can't forget the way that this match ended. And Stone Cold ended up stunning both Brock and Goldberg. And that was the last time we saw Brock in a WWE ring. Went to the NFL afterwards. He tried New Japan Wrestling for a little bit, and he was just kind of trying out all these different things. And it was kind of funny because he even said in an interview he just felt like he knew if he tried it, he could do it. So that was the coolest thing about Brock. And then, of course, we get to 2008, and he joined UFC, and he had a pretty successful UFC career for the most part, and he even became a UFC champion while he was there. And it was just kind of neat to see how basically this guy went from WWE to UFC. And then, of course, we can't deny when he came back to WWE in 2012. There were rumors and heavy speculations that Brock was going to be returning during the time. And of course, that night after WrestleMania 28, John Cena was standing in the middle of the ring after he lost The Rock, and fans were cheering for Brock. And it was really interesting to see just because of the fact that people knew he was going to return. And it kind of sucked because it did kind of ruin the return that the crowd saw it coming a mile away. But his return when he came back that night was still special. Comes out, F5's John Cena, and that started that whole feud with Cena. And, we had that pretty interesting build to their Extreme Rules match because Brock was saying that he was going to be the face of the company. Brock was saying that he was not a superstar. He's a you-know-what kind of kicker. And Brock was literally making it seem like WWE was the most real thing in the world. Just having this guy come from UFC to the WWE, it's almost like this was a different version of Brock than what we saw from when he came in to '02 to '04. Now, of course, he was still special from that time in '02 to '04, but this time was different because it's like he was on a different mission. It was his mission to become the guy. We had that build to their Extreme Rules match. Cena ended up winning, which was pretty unfortunate. This really led to basically kind of a downward spiral, I feel like, for Brock, because I feel like he didn't really have as much aura after this. Yeah, he took on Triple H in 2012 at SummerSlam. But after that, it kind of just felt like he faded away for a little bit. Like, yeah, he was still there, and it was still cool that he returned, but I feel like that's the only thing we remember from 2012 was his return initially. And then, of course, he disappeared, and he didn't show up again until WrestleMania to fight Triple H again. And 2013 and 2014 ish, he still just wasn't having that aura around him. And it was until he fought The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Say what you want about the match, but Brock did beat The Undertaker, which was something that nobody else was able to do at the time. Brock took on Undertaker, and he became the 1-21-1, as Paul Heyman would call him. And he literally had this aura around him now, because now it was like, oh, okay, now he just took down The Undertaker. What was next for Brock? He wanted to be the WWE champion. And that's what he did. He took on Cena, and he became the WWE championship after one of the most demolishing matches in his career, I would say, when he beat him at SummerSlam. And this is the match that should have happened at Extreme Rules in 2012. Brock versus Cena at SummerSlam 2014 was definitely a way better match. And yes, so Brock just had it all, man. He really made the WWE just feel unscripted. He made it feel as if like you were literally watching a fight. And he had just this incredible thing about him where anytime he came into the arena, you just knew the mood kind of changed a little bit. The tone definitely switched whenever Brock would show up. And of course, he had his incredible rivalries with Roman Reigns. And even though it was kind of overdone to death, but it was still a good rivalry for what they were trying to do. Roman versus Brock, Brock versus Taker again, Brock versus Seth. And 2014, I just feel like was his best year. 2015 was still a pretty solid year, of course, but then 2016, 2017, it kind of just seemed like he was just kind of there. Like he didn't really want to be there, but he was just there, I guess. In 2018, he made it clear he didn't want to be there in WWE. Now, 2020, he took on Drew, and this was actually a really good match because of the fact that these two actually matched up perfectly. So, Drew beat Brock at WrestleMania that year, and it seemed like Brock was pretty much gone because we didn't see Brock for a while until he returned in SummerSlam of 2021, and this was a different time because this time Roman was the champion, and he was with Paul Heyman, and we see that Brock was basically going to go after Roman and Paul this time. And it was kind of just a interesting feud. I mean, even though we've seen this so many times, like it was kind of back and forth with how they were doing this whole entire thing. The fact that these two literally were going back and forth for the next 7-8 months during this time was kind of interesting because they didn't really start feuding until October. So these two literally put on a few matches, which obviously their SummerSlam match was definitely a banger. Brock also feuded with Bobby Lashley, which was a dream match. He won the 2022 Royal Rumble. He even won the 2022 Elimination Chamber. So Brock was definitely on something. And let's not forget when he picked up Roman Reigns on the tractor, and he literally lifted the ring with the tractor on his SummerSlam match. So that's also something worth noting. So literally Brock was just having a great 2022. Came into 2023 feuds with Cody, which we still don't even know the reason as to why he attacked Cody in the first place. So that match happened, and then we can't forget the fact that he lost to Cody, and he gave Cody his respect. He went off script in their final SummerSlam match, and this almost seemed like as if like this could have been the end of Brock Lesnar right there. Well, we thought it was for sure, but then of course, he kind of went on hiatus for 2 years, and obviously, if you know, you know. And then he returns 2025. He outfives John Cena again, and they have their final match at WrestlePalooza with such a weak build. And this match really was okay. I mean, they were trying to replicate what they were trying to do with their 2014 match at SummerSlam, but it was a little bit kind of disrespectful to Cena, considering the fact that this was also Cena's one of Cena's last appearances. So it really was kind of a waste of Cena's dates. So Brock destroys Cena. He comes in the whole entire Vision with Paul Heyman and the rest of the Vision. He joins the Vision for the Survivor Series War Games match. Him and Roman have their another moment together and build up, and he just looked like he was in scary shape. Him and Roman face up against each other, and literally for a minute, these two were the only ones that actually mattered while watching this match. And then, Brock's team ended up winning at War Games. He disappeared again, didn't show up until Royal Rumble, led me to making this video, and that was him facing against Oba and the Rumble. And this got a huge pop because look at these two size up together. They literally are sizing up perfectly with each other. And they did just kind of face off for a minute. We were kind of waiting to see who was going to make the first strike. And then, of course, Brock just eliminated Oba Femi from the Rumble. And then Brock got eliminated while off screen, which was kind of really crazy to see for the most part. And that's really all that happened until then. So then we fast forward a few weeks later, and he starts feuding with Oba, just like what happened at the Rumble. And I already said this before in my WrestleMania video. These two had such a great build-up with their story just because of the fact that they didn't need a title to be the main event. These two literally faced each other so well, considering they both are the same size, same build. And Oba was being positioned just like Brock was 25 years ago, where he was going to become the next big thing. And Brock was actually seeming like he was okay to work with Oba as well. And that was one of the coolest things, was knowing that if you've earned Brock's respect, then you already know that you're going to be in good hands and you've got something special about you. So, of course, we get to the WrestleMania match, and Oba ends up beating Brock, and he destroyed Brock. And so, as I said in my WrestleMania video, he sits in the ring for a minute. He just kind of takes off his gloves, then he takes off his boots, and then he walks away from the ring. He hugs Paul Heyman. He says thank you to the fans, and that was it. And I honestly just cannot believe that he really retired this early. I was expecting him to retire sometime in SummerSlam. I feel like Brock is just once in a kind type of WWE superstar. We're never going to get another Brock Lesnar again. And he just had so many iconic moments and iconic feuds during his career. And it's really hard to just underestimate exactly what he did in the WWE during his time from 2002 to 2026 for that matter. And honestly, Oba being the one to retire Brock really makes sense, just for the simple fact that Oba is the only guy who I feel like could be taken seriously, since he's his size, and literally they're saying he's going to become the future of the WWE. So Oba would be the best person, I feel like, to retire Brock. But anyway, guys, this video is going on long enough. What do you guys think of Brock Lesnar as a whole and his career? Were you guys happy to have witnessed his career? Because honestly, I'm really going to be sad that this dude is gone. I mean, he's really brought so many good memories, and he's really made the WWE more enjoyable to watch when there were points when it wasn't really entertaining to watch. And that's all I really just wanted to say about this video. So make sure you comment down below what do you guys think about Brock Lesnar as a whole. And of course, one more time, I just want to say thank you again, Brock. You will always be remembered, and you will always be the beast incarnate. So that's all I have to say, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.